Anyway, so they came, Belgium, Congo went there, and they found out that the Congo area, there are forests there. Some of the thickest forests, in the whole of Africa is in the Congo area. They had wild rubber, the tree, where, that was the time that they started having cars and all that. So you needed rubber and then to make tires and then so many other allied, collateral the things that you can make with rubber. Now, but this rubber was wild. It was a wild tree. So they just got the natives or the people there and told them, every one of you, every week, you are to bring a bucket full of rubber. And if at the end of the week or the period that they were given, they came and you didn't have rubber, they will cut off your hand. They will cut it off and put your hand, the cut off hand, into boiling oil. They will cut off your hand. You dared not, fail to get the amount of rubber that was there. And it is estimated that this Leopold of Belgium murdered 10 million people in the Congo. And the whole of Africa will have an AU. We do not remember this type of atrocity that was committed. And we do not celebrate it. You see an African rather telling you that the world, the greatest atrocity you can think of is the Holocaust. Look at that. They say the Holocaust, an African. I remember I went to a workshop and somebody was talking of man's inhumanity to man. We're talking about man's inhumanity to man. And he said, look, that example is the Holocaust. I said, what sort of Holocaust? What? If I became a big debate and a quarrel between me and the person in one here when I first came. That I said, Holocaust, no, that the Holocaust, so many people die. And I said, the slave trade, didn't people die? Is it because they are black? The Congo, do you know how many people were killed there? And there he was still trying to debate me. When we left, he quickly came back and said, Sanoma, I'm sorry, I have gone to do my research. I said, yeah. You see, the world is full of propaganda. The white man, look, the Jews who keep talking of the Holocaust, everybody just be talking of the Holocaust. It's a crime. Look, if you dare say that the Holocaust was not a crime, they will kill you. And what have they done about this? What do they call that thing? The slave trade. Oh, the slave trade. Africans, your chiefs. Your chiefs are also complicit. One day, a very brilliant an academic, a Ghanaian, I heard him say, our chiefs are also complicit in this matter. They are complicit. The white man didn't go into the bush to get the slave. I said, look at what the man is saying. Look, if you haven't done intelligence, especially at the level that I have done it, external intelligence, you will not know the mind of the white man. You will just be a fool all your life. It does not matter your level of education. Look at what they said. Because we want reparations. We want the whites, those who came and took away this, they must pay for it. So they're putting your mother, it's your people. And you're the same black people are the ones saying that, yeah, our people, that truth be told, our chiefs also didn't do well. No. Look, when you come to the Holocaust and you go to Germany, when Hitler, arrested and Jews, it was not only Jews, we also had the Roma tribe, and then other people and blacks, they were all put in these gas chambers. It was not only Jews. It was never only Jews. But there were those we call collaborators. They were Jews who were collaborators, who were treating, exposing their others to the authorities. This man there, he's a Jew. He's trying to hide and say that he is a German. He's a Jew. They were Jews. They called them the Jewish collaborators. There were people who did that. Traitors who were exposing the identities of their own people to be captured and killed. So if you come to Africa, you have these traitors who were also arresting these people. Then you want to shift the whole thing as if it is the Africans' fault that the slave trade came. Anyway, so Belgium was in the Congo. Then you had the British and the English. They actually had most of the portions there. The Germans also came, went to a place like Cameroon. They went to Namibia. In Namibia, they killed so many people there. They came to Togo. Togo was actually a German colony. So they also had, some colonies here. But then Britain and, what was the name? Britain and France, they had most colonies. Britain had about 22 colonies in Africa, and France had 21. A lot of them in West Africa, the ECOWAS region as we have it today. Now, but let us not forget, even in the Arab North, Morocco, Tunisia, and Algeria were also French colonies. If you don't know, they were also French colonies. Now, so they had these colonies. That was, as I said, the scramble for Africa started in 1884, and they did it because they wanted to come and loot and rape and then collect the resources that we had. That was the main purpose of their coming here. So you can see that anytime you see the roads those days, you see that the railway, for example, the train carries a lot of cargo. It can carry a whole lot of things. So you see the train will go to Kumasi, then to Pristia, then to Takwa, then to Obuasi. The area why the Obuasi, Takwa, and then the Pristia? Because they had gold and diamond and other things. They also had timber in those areas, the Kumasi area. So they came and they had all these colonies. But then, let me also tell you a bit about Sierra Leone. Sierra Leone in the United States. The United States, as you know it today, was also a colony of Britain. But then they got up around 1775 or something like that and fought the British. They fought a revolutionary war against the British. Now, when they were fighting this revolutionary war, some blacks in America, some of the slaves in America, were happy that Britain was fighting their slave masters. So they joined Britain to fight the Americans. Some blacks did that. Now, those blacks, but then the Americans defeated the British during the Revolutionary War, the War of Independence. America finally had its independence around 1776, the 4th of July. Now, so the blacks who fought on the side of Britain against America, when America defeated the British, they could not stay in America. So they had to follow the British and run away to Britain. But when they went to Britain, Britain said, "You people, we don't want you here." So they came and got a place called Sierra Leone. The Sierra Leone that you see, those people who fought with the British in the War of Independence or Revolutionary War in America, they are the people who came and founded Sierra Leone. After they founded Sierra Leone, as for Britain, quickly they came and colonized the place again and made it a British colony. Now, we also have Liberia. Liberia, there was a time that some people in America said that it was not good to catch your fellow man and make him a slave. So let us send them back to where they belong. So they instituted something, got some money, and then got them, and then brought them to some place, and then offloaded and said, "My friend, you go and stay there." They gave them some small money. Go and stay there. It's part of Africa. That's why they call it Liberia. It was done at the time that James Monroe was the president of the United States. That is why you see that Liberia, the capital, is called Monrovia. Unfortunately, when these people came, look at the time they came, long time in the early 1800s. Yet, even up to today, those people, they call themselves Americo-Liberians. We are Americo-Liberians. Can you see the madness? They still call themselves Americo-Liberians. Go and look at their flag. It is like the American flag with only one star. They call it the Lone Star. That is why Liberia is called the Lone Star. Up to now, they still want to speak their own type of slang there. In fact, if you were born, and even most of them even hold dual citizenship. You were slave somewhere, you agreed to come to Africa, you have come, you are still remembering America. We are American. I met them, a lot of them, when I was on postings outside as a diplomat. that we are American Liberians. Yeah, America. The money was even called, I think it's still called the dollar, the Liberian dollar. So, so Liberia, it was not colonized. But there is one, but these were slaves who were brought back. Of course, during the time they were stopping the slave trade, Britain went and did some despicable things. Even though they said they actually got some ships that waylaid slave carrying ships in the high seas in the Atlantic Ocean. They will collect these slaves, but instead of bringing the people to Africa, they went to a lone island somewhere and put the people in the island. 27,000 people who were captured and were in the ships being transported to America, who were liberated. They were supposedly liberated, but the British ships didn't bring them to Africa. They put them in some island. The people went there was nothing on the island, and then they gave them some small rations, small food, and some tents. All of them died there. They all died there. Anyway, so the only country in Africa that has never been colonized is Ethiopia. And in fact, Ethiopia defeated, a European country twice, Italy. Italy sat and said, no, this Ethiopia, nobody has been there. Let us also go so that we'll get a colony. They came there, the Ethiopian defeated them. Then during the time of Mussolini, he also got up, the time Germany, Second World War, they were fighting. They also came and said, we are coming back to Ethiopia again. The Ethiopian beat them again, floored them, defeated them. So Ethiopia has never been colonized. That is the only country in the whole of Africa that was never colonized. But all the others, even the Egypt that it was the British were there. The British came and drove away the Ottoman Empire. But they still allowed them some liberty, Now, so I'm saying that Britain and France started, getting these countries. And the whole reason was that they wanted resources to go and then develop themselves. And they also thought that it would minimize the spate of wars that Europeans were waging amongst themselves. But then, in 1914, there was a First World War. They say in Germany, Otto von Bismarck, who, together with King Leopold, decided this type of, come and slice up the whole of Africa and share. This same Germany went to war in 1914. So by 1914, when the First World War came, most of Africa, including Ghana, which was then called the Gold Coast, was a colony of Britain. So they came to Africa and collected Africa to go and fight a war. The people said, look at where they are taking us. They just gave us a gun that we should go and fight. For what? That you'll be shooting and be killing the other man. Then the one you see somebody wearing this, that's a German, shoot and kill him. Our people fought. When they brought them back, when the war finished and they brought them back, they never gave them anything. They gave them nothing. They just came and threw them away, then went away and left them. Now, during this First World War, the Germany was defeated. So the German colonists that were in Africa, because Germany was defeated, they came and shared them up, mostly between France and Britain. Togo was a German colony. So during this First World War, in fact, the first firing of the gun when the First World War started was by Ghanaian soldiers who went into a portion of Togoland, which later became known as Transvolta Togoland, and then went and liberated that place. So Togo was cut into two. Now the French also came from Benin area and then captured a part of Togo, which the French, they were made protectorates by the League of Nations that time. They were German colonies. But when the war finished and Germany was defeated, they said, okay, Britain, the portion that you have captured, you'll be taking care of it until we take a decision. France, the portion you also captured, you'll be taking care of it until, the world body at that time, known as the League of Nations, had, a final pronouncement on it. So that is why Britain then had, the Transvolta Togoland, and they made it as though it was part of Ghana. but it was not part of Ghana until 1956. So that was after the First World War, 1914, 1918. Now then, in 1939, the same Germans started another war. When they started this war, quickly, France was defeated. Within a few weeks, Germany defeated France. And their leaders at that time, General de Gaulle, ran away. He fled and went into Britain. Now, so during the Second World War, when they were fighting, the Germans were very strong. But they made a mistake and went and attacked Russia. So from the eastern side, the Russians were fighting them back. They were fighting them back. The British saw that the war was difficult and went into America. Please come and help us to fight. America said, no. We have what we call the Monroe Doctrine of 1821 or 1823. You Europeans, you like fighting yourself. If you are fighting, don't come for us. We are not coming there. Then, Churchill, who was the Prime Minister of Britain, said, look, you people come and help us. Oh, my mother is American. They say, whether your mother is American or not, we are not coming. But we'll do something for you. We'll give you equipment and ammunition. We'll give it to you. You'll mobilize and be fighting. So they had this system they called Lend-Lease. The Lend-Lease, agreement between America and Britain. So America was certain that they said, no, this is a European war. You'll be fighting. You like fighting too much. But then Germany made an error and a mistake. On the 7th of December 1941, Germany went to America and then went and bombed their harbor, Pearl Harbor. And that time, Japan was, I say Germany. Did I say Germany went? No, Japan went to Pearl Harbor on the 7th of December 1941 and went and bombed and destroyed American ships, American planes, their airports, their seaports, their everything. And Japan was collaborating with Germany to fight. The Americans said, what? This war, we said we were not coming. Japan, look at what we have come to do. Look, we are at war with you, Japan. Then they declared war against Germany too. So now America started, built up and then came and then supported the British, and the French, and the Russians were also coming from the east into Germany, and then they defeated Germany. When they defeated Germany, the Japanese refused to surrender. They kept on fighting. So the Americans commissioned their scientists and said, look, make a master bomb that the world has never seen. So they made an atomic bomb. And they went and detonated one thing on the 6th of August, 1945, at Hiroshima. Then, 3 days later, on the 9th of August, they went to Nagasaki and bombed again. And the Japanese said, wait, this one day, we can't fight again. Now, that is how the World War II was concluded in 1945. Now, when this war was concluded, let us remember that Britain had so many colonies worldwide. Some of its colonies, spheres of influence, were more than 100 times the population of Britain. So a small island like that. It's a small island the size of Ghana. Look at India. Look at the size of India. At that time, what you know now as Pakistan and India, they were one country known as India. So when they came back, the Indians said, my friends, you, Britain, we went and helped you to fight. You don't want to be colonized. The Germans wanted to colonize you, you refused. Now you are still our colony. We are having our independence. The British couldn't do anything. The British had to allow them to have their independence. Now, when they were going to have their independence, tribe, the Hindus and the Muslims, they fought against themselves. This one will say, I will not let a Muslim be the head of state of India. This one also said, a Hindu will not be a head of state of India. So there was a big fight between the tribes there, the Hindus and the Muslims. And the Muslims had to run away. All Muslims had to run to the northern portion of India and stayed in what you now call Pakistan around 1947. So that is how Pakistan came to be. But they were all the same. They are all Indians. It was one country. So when they did that, then some Africans who were also in Europe, they say, you these people, you don't want to be colonized, and then you want to come and colonize us. No, we also want our independence. So we also started in Africa. Nkrumah and co were abroad. They were holding meetings about Africa being liberated. They continued, to agitate, to meet, to talk, to write, and then bit by bit by bit by bit, we started having our independence. And Ghana was the first to have its independence on the 6th of March, 1957. And the Son of Man was there marching that day. Bah, 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 bah. So that is how the independence. Why we did that? Every country started in Africa. No, we want our independence. We want independence. Then the French, quickly, they saw that France could never be, could never live or develop or exist without the resources they were looting and stealing from their colonies. So they decided to do something. They said that, okay, as for Britain, they are giving their colonies independence, but we will make you people French people. You'll be French people. You hold elections in Mali, in Guinea, in Niger, Cote d'Ivoire, in Burkina Faso, at that time called Upper Volta, Voltaire. You hold elections, then you select one person who will come to French Parliament. We are just like we are one. So they had to hold a referendum on that. When they held a referendum, Guinea said, no, that's for that. We don't want that. No. We don't want that. No, we want independence. The French got mad, came and destroyed every single thing that they built in Guinea, even though it was Guinea money that they used to build the place. They said it was French that built it for them. They destroyed everything, removed even bulbs, anything that they had, that they went and destroyed it. So Nkrumah said, no. Sekou Toure, who was then the prime minister or president of Guinea, he said, no, I will not allow this. So he gave Guinea 10 million pounds, British pounds, sterling pounds at that time, using Ghana's money. Then, of course, France found out that a popular thing was happening about independence in Africa, and its colonies were also demanding independence. So they quickly came to them. Their prime minister at that time, De Gaulle, on the 19th of December. In fact, they foresaw that there will be agitations for independence. So in 1947, they crafted something. Now, do you know something? All of you will have this agreement with you. Yes, all Francophone countries. Number one, you are to pay us, France, for the benefits of colonialism. That's one. Number two, all the structures that we have come to build, your schools, your courts, the mansions, your parliaments, and all that. That was when they were having their independence. All of them, you'll be paying rent. So if you go to Ivory Coast today, even their parliament house and where the president stays, the residence, they pay rent to France. Number two, your army. It's France that is going to supply all your equipment. Now, you are not to sign any agreement with any country unless you get the permission. You have to let us know, and we have to agree before you do that. All your top soldiers will be trained in France. All your armies, the French will come and train you in your countries. All your military equipment, you are to come and you are to buy them from France. If you discover any resource in your countries, and French companies are the only ones that will come and then look for resources in your country. And when they find any resource, we are the first you should sell it to. You cannot sell it to anybody unless we refuse. You cannot do that. So these were the demonic pacts that they had with them. Then also, your money, about 80% of all what you earn, you come and keep it in France. We'll give you a certain percentage. Now that percentage we give you. If you need more than that, and you are coming, your money that is left and we are keeping it, you come and take a bit of it, and then we'll give it to you as a loan, and you pay interest on it. It is estimated that the French are looting as much as 550 billion or 500 billion from their colonies every year. This is the parasitic sort of relationship that they have with them. Now let us come to Niger, or even before I come there. Now, to ensure that these draconian and parasitic and killer pacts that they had with their colonists, to ensure that they were always in place, they made sure that they had people that they controlled as the prime ministers or presidents of these countries. That is why you come and hear that Bazoum was a friend of France. But what are the agreements that Bazoum had with France? The French, they are importing between 20 and 30% of the uranium that they use to make their electricity from Niger. And there are agreements, as I told you already. Every resource that you have, it is a French company that should mine it. Now, this resource, this uranium, a kilogram weight of uranium, the French were paying something like $1. The French were paying $1 for it. Meanwhile, on the world market, it is $200. France is collecting $55 billion worth of uranium from Niger every year. 55 billion. And they give Niger only 1 billion. And they take the 54 billion away. Then they turn and say Niger is backward, they are primitive, they can't manage their economy. Can you imagine this? And even this 1 billion that is given them, it is kept in the French bank. And they are giving only about 200 million dollars. Can you imagine that? And then you have a prime minister, you have politicians who will come and pretend over and supervise this type of demonic agreement. Can you imagine? And that is only one resource. That is only one area. Let us not forget that Niger also has gold and other minerals that they are mining there. And French companies are taking them. And they are not paying any economic, rates for all these things. And that is why you'll find that those who are in ECOWAS, and they say they are sitting somewhere talking that there's a coup, they are going to find Niger. Either they are illiterate, they don't read, they are ignorant, or they are people who are afraid of what they themselves are doing to their own countries. Look at the Niger case. It is estimated that Niger would have been one of the middle income earning countries in the whole of the world. But look at where they are, how poor they are. 55 billion, you give them only 1 billion. And do you know what 54 billion, the 54 billion that France takes, you know what 54 billion means? That's $54,000 million. 54,000 million dollars, 54,000. You take it away. Can you imagine? You imagine what they are doing? So they will go and get all manner of people. Then they also had something that yes, France has a right to come and station its soldiers on your soil. And then if there's anything there, commotion, the French can intervene. If France has a war with any country, they can come and take your soldier to go and fight for them. And you have prime ministers. Look at the time we had, these countries had independence. How many years ago? More than 60 years. So nobody in these countries could have seen this. Nobody could have seen this and reversed this. If you want to do it legally, you go and then get a referendum and then say these people have spoken. You don't even need to go to your parliament. That is why even in Ghana, when we have this LGBTQ, I don't know, we have lawyers and lawmakers who are in Ghana, the whole of Ghana. Let there be a meeting, let us see whether we couldn't have crafted a referendum so that Ghanaians will go and vote for LGBTQ. When you make LGBT, who are they going to attack? Now you say parliament, so they'll go. Sam Joy, you don't come to America. You this man too. You also did this. You this man. Look at the African. Look, we can't think. Go back to these French countries, colonies. Sorbonne is the French equivalent of Oxford. A lot of their people have gone to that school. Then you come, the French are cheating you like this, and you are there struggling. You are there struggling. You go to Niger. 80% of the people of Niger don't have electricity. Everybody in France, they even have electricity as a luxury, as an ornament. Ornamental, in fact. Paris, when you go there, they even are suffering from what we call light pollution. Light pollution. There is so much light. There is so much light that it has become a hazard. And yet, there is so much electricity and light. Then they'll be laughing. When you go to them, they don't know anything. They are primitive. Yes, they are primitive. In fact, I agree with them in one way. Meanwhile, you are looting all the things. This Macron, this little boy who is married to a woman older than his mother, he's saying that yes, Africa is still primitive. It's still primitive. Otherwise, how can somebody have 7 children? And this is the lingua and language they are talking again. This is the language that they are talking. That our population is too big because their populations are aged, and they have seen the youth population in Africa is very high, and that soon they will be importing labor from Africa. So, my listeners, this is what French is doing, not only in Niger, but Burkina Faso, Mali, Cote d'Ivoire, and then Senegal. That's what they're doing. They're looting everything. Take the example of this. Something that is costing, $200. You pay only $1 for it. And then when they stay you cool. And look at all the people going to vote for prime minister, and none of them could, just raise his voice against this. So they will see that when you are there, look at the Gabon coup, for example. The man had stroke, he couldn't walk, he couldn't think, he couldn't do anything, yet they propped him and kept him there because French companies were looting them. And the man in Gabon, he had as many as 39 mansions in France. He's not even building them in Gabon. And when you see Gabon without paved roads, no water,